educational material for our crime class. We did a remodel in our basement, and so we're paying those construction bills. I've got the packet over there, just very small stuff. That'll get paid.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thanks. Number 6, innkeeper's tax. Who's, okay, no.
Last
What
year,
turn your mic on?
no. Last year there was no money appropriated in that line. I don't know why. There's a claim by Dan, and I'm sure he'd like to have his money. So the claim I think is for $1,174. So what we want to do is move $4,000 from another line to pay for legal services.
Okay, do I hear a motion to take care of this? Don? Is there a second? Dick, second. Any questions for Don on this? Pretty self-explanatory. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Moving on to C, reductions. Beth, got a lot of them here.
First of all, before I get into the reductions, I would just like to say thank you very much to the sheriff. As you're all well aware, through the years that he's been sheriff, he has always been over backwards to help the county out in different situations by moving things or helping pay out, and for him to make that offer, very much appreciated. So I just want to say thank you. As far as the reductions go, this is basically just a cleanup from what we did last month, because of all the lines that we needed to move from the 911 fund into the communications center budget. So now we just have to reduce those lines in that 911 budget. The total of $324,923.08 is the same amount that we appropriated into the CCC last month.
Okay. Having heard Beth, is there a motion to approve these reductions? I'll make that motion. Is there a second? Mark Davidson, second. Any questions? You explained real well to us. Appreciate that. All right, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to new business. Kirk. Got a request from Animal Welfare League.
Yes, good morning, Kurt Holman, on behalf of AWR, is seeking an allocation of $5,000 from the dog tax fund. I spoke with the treasurer and the auditor earlier. I believe there's sufficient funds in the dog tax collections at this time to pay the $5,000 to AWR.
Yeah, it looks like there's a cash balance of $7,409.27.
Well, the fund he's looking at is $49.36,
Oh, okay.
and there's over 9,300 in that fund.
Oh, okay.
I move we approve.
Second.
I didn't get who seconded. Davidson.
No.
Beat you out, Greg. All right. Any questions, comments? Is that going to leave us enough of a balance, Jim, to cover any, of course, we don't know, dog kills,
It'll leave
animal
you-
kills, or?
Well, until next settlement, you'll have about $4,300 in there, so hopefully we won't have that kind of massacre happening. But you
Right.
never know.
With dogs, you never know. Okay. After the settlement, I was talking to the auditor, and we figured out that based on the amount of money that we collected from dog tax, this county has 1,434 dogs, 0.3 dogs.
0.3.
1,433.3 dogs. So I guess people see that county option dog tax and think that it's optional, whether they pay it or not. It would be great if everybody paid that, and we would be able to help fund the Animal Welfare League, who basically takes care of all the stray animals, and they do a whole lot of stuff down there for the animals. And, anyway, I guess we can't get out to police it real well. It's an option, I guess. Option tax. Okay. Anyway, that's my comments. Anybody else?
I just wanted to mention that I do stop in there pretty regularly, and the place is full of animals and hard-working people that really put their heart and their soul into their job. And I'm guilty as charged of the option on paying my dog tax up until a few years ago when I realized that it wasn't an option. So I just wanted to make sure that the public knows that it's a pretty small fee, but it adds up to a lot of money, and they do use it wisely and need it. So I'm now paying my fair share of dog tax. I hope everyone else does.
Better put that in the minutes too.
I just wanted to reiterate that it says option, but it's really not an option. I mean, the option is whether you own dogs or not. So, it really needs to be paid.
Any other comments, questions? All in favor of $5,000 request on the Animal Welfare League, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to B. The auditor and the treasurer are going to sing and duet.
You better hope not. I'll know about that. Well, I don't know what you got on the insurance. This is not a new request from the auditor's office. Ever since I took office, I've had this on my budgetary request to look at changing our financial software. A couple of things have really caused that need to come to a head. This year, we've been issued directives from the State Board of Accounts to provide additional reports to them. And unfortunately, our current software system, that is its Achilles heel. The reports, they don't have the time that it takes to generate those reports is ridiculous. I use about a grand total, just for one set of reports that we put out to all of the department heads. We spend 3 man-hour days to get those reports out there, just so the other departments in this county can see how much money they have in their budgets. And whether or not they use them, I don't know, but we make them available because the software and the ability to see their budgets in a real-time manner is not available to them. So some of the departments requested it, and some of them just needed it, so we we put it out there for everyone, we send it out to the CBC, so they know how much money they have in their innkeeper's taxes, but to do that takes 3 days, 3 days. And we're running them departmentally. It's just, the reporting is very, very slow. So that's one of the more pressing reasons that we're requesting this change. As far as my office is concerned, I'll let Dana talk numbers.
And I don't know whether your office has to deal with spreadsheets in accordance to the laws.
Go ahead, explain that.
Unfortunately, there are a few things that the treasurer's office has to deal with that are not in the financial system. So therefore, what they've done is set up spreadsheets to go along with the software, which the spreadsheets work. That's not the point, but the point is State Board of Accounts does not like the spreadsheet issue because they want everything to be encompassed in the financial software, and it all goes back to accountability, because they don't want things to be able to be changed, which, that would be a lot easier to do via a spreadsheet than would, in the system, actually. So, that's kind of a big issue. I'm not able to keep track of my investments in that financial software, which to me, investments are financial, but that's not able to happen. It's just not in that software. So that's kind of a big deal for me. I mean, I keep track of them otherwise, but and that kind of goes back to that thing where, State Board of Accounts, instead of being able to look all in one even thing, it's like we've got, all these different things that they're having to look at. So they don't really like that. But they are not going to say that we can't use that, which I don't really understand that part of it either. Because it's like they're saying, yeah, we don't like you to do it this way, but we're not going to say that you can't. They're just going to write it up and not like it, I guess. But yeah, so that's about all I have to say about that.
What we're trying to do with our software is move it into the 21st century, I guess. The software proposal that we put before the commissioners yesterday is from a company called Lau Associates Incorporated. They're an Indiana company. They design software, financial software for Indiana. It's built around the statutes that exist, and it's adjusted, and the statutes get adjusted. So there's not a lot of room for error. The State Board of Accounts loves this software. It's what they're used to seeing, and it's in about half the counties. A couple of the big pluses for it, for our county, would be that we would be able to move into more electronic accounts payable than what we're doing right now, which, as I mentioned, the checks themselves cost 50 cents, postage is 50 cents. It's $1 every time you send somebody a check, which, seems tiny, but it really adds up over the course of years and years and years of doing it. And that's a cost that we could begin decreasing considerably by moving to this software. The other thing is that is the biggest boon for all of the departments is that going to this would put this software in every department. There would be access for department heads to be able to see real-time their budget numbers. We would be able to work on our budget like we're doing this time of year in that software. Right now, we can't work on budgets in our current software. It's all handled, again, in one of those external spreadsheets, which, you know, I applaud my team. We have a high degree of accuracy, moving all of this data from from forms we get from the departments to the spreadsheet, to Gateway, and then back into the software. We're moving it 4 times, and, you know, it's not okay. Well, and then secondly, in addition to having that access, department heads would be able to process claims directly from the software. That would tell them real time how much money they have in their line, what is the correct line to use, which is also going to pretty much make everybody's jobs a lot easier. Because right now, the bigger departments, I think, probably have a bit of a headache trying to keep track of all that, again, outside the system or from the reports that we send them on a monthly basis. So anyway, that's our argument for. Is it free? No. And is it cheaper than what we have? No, it's not. They have provided us with different options as far as paying for it. We can divide it over the course of 3 years. And there are no additional finance charges for doing it over the course of 3 years. If we sign with them before September, we get a $15,000 discount. So that's why I'm pressing it upon everyone to move upon this. And yeah, if you have any questions for us, I think I said enough.
How much time will it save?
Well, let's look at it this way. I'm asking for a part-time employee next year to help with the additional time that it's going to take to run these additional.
So you say you want to need part-time help?
Something perhaps.
So, what is the cost? You said you got some numbers?
Yes, I do. And this year, to begin the process, what we need is $69,996. This will begin the the transition, conversion. Thank you. And that is, as I said, if we sign up by September, including that $15,000 discount. We would begin the conversion immediately. The goal would be to be live in that software before the end of this year. And the benefit to that is that we'll get 2018 as a historical year in the software. I have contacted our IT support and provided them with the requirements of this software, and they said that the hardware we have now is sufficient, both workstations and server-wise. So that was good to know. So anyway, the first year, $69,996, and then paying for the conversion, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. $62,610 is the first year, $62,610. And then the 2 consecutive years is $69,996 if we do it over a 3-year period.
What's the life expectancy?
People have been using it for about a decade or 2. They come highly recommended. We've done a lot of research. Every single entity that uses this software is pleased with it. We also spoke to the officers in Jasper County who had the same kind of software that we have for a short period of time, immediately switched over to LAP. And, you know, they were somebody who's been there, done that, and could speak with some knowledge about the benefits to it.
There are 2 counties
left Indiana use the same software that you have now, or something?
It's just two, us and Boone County. And this software, it's distributed by an Indiana county, but it was not built in Indiana. It was designed for non-for-profits by a company in Arizona. The name of the software is SIMA. And yes, we are the only two entities in the state using it.
Have you talked to Boone County to see what they're gonna do? So I assume they're in the same situation.
I haven't. They have a lot more contractual help than we do for these kinds of purposes. And that, this may not be as much of a hindrance to them as it is to us, just based on staffing needs, pretty much. We would not at this time want to change any of our property taxing software. This would be solely the financial software, even though this company does also provide property taxation software. We want to stay with our current vendor on that.
Will the LAO and your property tax software mesh together, or do they have to?
No.
They don't have to.
Two completely different hats we wear,
So,
basically.
so the bill's gonna be roughly $140,000 plus the 62.6. That's the total
Yes.
over 3 years.
Mhm.
And you're looking to raise 62.6
62.6 to get it all
to
rolling.
get the thing going. That's part of the original.
That's right. We would have to pay that to them before the end of the year.
And there's no interest to run it out 3 years.
No, sir.
We've had meeting with Simon's people earlier in the year, so, and of course they want to work with us and do everything they can to make this thing work. Bottom line is, there's 2 counties that work with it. We're one of the 2, and they made it clear that they have no intention of selling it anywhere else or updating it, other than what we want to pay for to get. So if there's an update in the state, something the state decides to change, imagine that. We are one of 2 counties that's got to pay for the cost of updating the software, rather than having, how many is on this other system?
About half the counties in the state.
So rather than having 40-some counties help pay for the cost of updating the software. So it looks to me, when we went all through this is expensive, but the other system, the old system that we're currently on, is a dead end. It's going to ultimately be a dead end because there's nobody else using it, and they're not intending to keep it up to date. So it was my thought that, and it was Jim and Don and I would talk to these people, and I come to the conclusion that, yeah, it's a lot of money. We just well like the bullet and get it done, because next year will probably be more. And ultimately, we're going to have to do something.
I guess as a commissioner, I'm not against making a switch, but I do think that we, since we signed the contract, what are we currently paying Simon? Just as a comparison, I'm not trying to make it look bad in
No,
your case.
that's fine. And the thing to think about with Simon is that we were one of their beta slots. So the agreement was that they installed it for free, and then we got a discounted rate. We were one of their guinea pigs. So what we're paying them right now is $12,360 a year for the ongoing contractual license for the software.
Okay, then after the 3rd year, is there an ongoing contractual?
Yes, after the 3rd year, it's going to be the Schedule C of the contract, which is $24,300 a year.
Okay.
But again, this does have the electronic payment capabilities, and with it, there's a lot more integration for employees. They can see their check stubs, they can follow what their withholdings are, they'll have online access to that through this system. They also work they work very well with about 6 or 7 different timekeeping software programs, where you can just integrate the timekeeping software program directly into our payroll program, which again, is going to cut down on errors and corrections that have to be made with that regard. So if you opt to go that route.
I think too, it's looking back on how we got to the point of using Simon to begin with was, I think we were hooked up with a company called Manatron years ago.
Well, prior to SIMA, we used a software company called
Harris, that's right.
Yeah.
But we made a big switch, what, 10 years ago or so?
It was 2011 was our conversion year, where we went from using Manatron for the property tax software, and we switched it to PBD. And then the following year, we switched the financial software from Harris to SIMA. And
I
they
just
were-
remember way back when Phil Boots was still on this council, and you go through the budgets, it seemed to me like the software issue was approaching $100,000 or something. It always seemed ridiculous at that time, and that's why we started the investigation to try to save the county money, which I think we have. But to your point, maybe it's outlived its usefulness, and it's time to move on to something. But we did save considerable dollars over this period of time, so I just wanted everybody to be aware of that. And I'm not against advancement on the technology side at all. I think the automatic deposits and the automatic payables and electronic payables is going to be a benefit moving forward. That's just my 2 cents worth.
We also, I don't remember the person's name, but we spoke to a financial consultant that came in about a year ago, and the difference of him being able to help us using our present software as opposed to something that he could work with was an astronomical amount of money that he was going to have to charge us to decipher things with the software we have. Not to put any blame on anybody at any time when it was purchased, because it seemed like probably the right thing to do, but I think it's antiquated and obsolete, and we should leave Boone County holding the bag before we end up holding the bag with this company, because it's just a matter of time. It's I hate spending money on computer software in my own business, but you're forced to keep up with the times. And I think even though Boone County may be doing okay with it because they have more contractual services, what do you want to bet they're paying an arm and a leg for those contractual services to manipulate through this antiquated software? I think as much as we all are conservative, it is time to move forward and get some software that works for the auditor, for the treasurer, for the whole county. And I think these ladies have done plenty of research and found one that works for Indiana and for the counties in Indiana, so I'm in favor of biting the bullet, so to speak.
Well, at yesterday's commissioner meeting, basically, what I left there with was the impression that they wanted assurance that the council would fund this before they agreed to the technical service agreement. So that's why we brought it before you today.
I didn't have any interest in throwing anybody under the bus as far as why they did this, when they did it. I mean, businesses change, and they obviously decided that they're not gonna go forward with this software, assignment system, and they made that clear. And so to invest more money in that is kind of like investing money in a Model A car that you plan on using on a daily basis. It just doesn't make sense. So we have to change direction with it. So, one other question I had was, does this fit, Sheriff, you do a lot of accounting work. And will this work with the sheriff department and their employees?
Actually, to be honest, it would probably be better, because right now we don't have access to the T drive, which is what they use for all the budgeting, because we have to be separated, in a sense, from a CJIS standpoint. So honestly, with the change, if it can be reached through advanced authentication remotely, that sort, it would probably be better for us.
Well, you would access it the same way you access mine now, whatever that process is.
But when it comes to budget time, what I'm getting at is like, they say, hey, dude, fill out everything and submit it on the T drive, and then they just copy and paste into the budget. We don't have that access, so we have to bring everything up here by hand for the auditor's office to enter.
And this software would make that go away.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? I guess I would entertain a motion to approve that we're going to pay for this and how we're going to pay for it and from what fund. I guess that's a big motion. And also pending review by our attorney on the contract to make sure everything's cool. And I also know that once we approve or don't approve pay it, then the commissioners are going to make a decision on whether they're going to sign the contract today. And that was part of the meeting yesterday.
I will say too that I was very fortunate that Don and Gary called and I had a couple, 3 meetings with them and with the vendors, as well as I think you're going to hear more, which Don and Gary are both aware of. You're going to hear from the assessor too to say that she's not happy with the way she's being able to perform her jobs and her functions. And the one good thing that I was able to do when I talked with the gentleman from Lao that Jennifer set me up with was to get the information for the fact that what the assessor is wanting to do and change in her software is a very good fit to interact with Lao. Obviously, I can't remember the name, Sherry. Xsoft is a company that is working to release some stuff for the auditor and the treasurer probably later this year, but we don't want to be that person again, I don't think. And second of all is that the guy from Lao did tell me that, hey, Xsoft is working to do this, but if you decide not to use their product completely, Lao is a fit that works with Xsoft and interacts very well and is doing it in many counties already. As Jennifer said, that Lao is